evening. Good evening. This is Trey and Roz.
What's up?
This is Trey and Roz. We are the 6th episode of the Keep the Fire Burning
Welcome.
podcast.
Yeah.
We are excited about this one.
He's probably more excited than I am, to be transparent about
this is a subject that I can talk about every day.
This is his favorite topic
every day
now in this season of our marriage, honestly.
Absolutely. So we're talking about money. Money.
Short term.
Yes.
And long term financial tips for married people.
Yes, absolutely. And this actually is something that will bless married people, but also single people too.
It is for anybody.
Single people as well.
Yeah.
Can definitely get in on this. So we're gonna start it off. You wanna?
So full transparency, just a quick little update and overview and kind of context. When we first got married, which is, as you all know, about 20 years ago, I think I was making financially. I was freelancing.
We were.
And then I think when I finally got a full-time job, I was making like $8 an hour, full transparency. And together, combined, we were making probably under $40,000
We were definitely making under 40.
So.
And that is what the gross.
Yes.
Under 40, the gross.
So we wanted to be transparent and be honest, because to God be the glory of where we are today and some of the tips that we've learned along our journey that we can share with you all. And hopefully learn from you as well.
Absolutely. So these are just recommendations. We have 8 different accounts that we're recommending for married couples. But these are recommendations that will cause peace. We believe it will cause peace in the home and free from friction. It causes peace because when you communicate about money and where you want the money to go, it can minimize arguments about money, and you'll be working to reduce stress because many of us argue because of money. So you can work to reduce stress in the marriage and in your own personal lives.
Can definitely help with those areas.
All right. So number 1.
First account number 1 to think about.
Yes, number 1, the joint checking account. And this one definitely is really a no-brainer, but we believe that the joint checking account is something that's for bills, definitely be for bills, everyday expenses that are vital to maintain really just to be able to pay your bills off and take care of your needs.
Because the reality is when you come together, you're merging your lives. You came into the picture with a set of bills. You come together, you're going to have bills regardless. How are you going to pay those? Those are fixed expenses every month. They don't change. Typically, that could be your living expenses, mortgage, ComEd, NICOR. Those are fixed expenses. So what account are you using to pay those fixed expenses?
That's right. The joint checking account, very important. That's number 1. Number 2, the joint emergency account. And we believe, and we're of the belief, that every person really should have a joint emergency or should have an emergency account. But definitely couples should have a joint emergency account because anything can come up.
And I'll share a quick situation that happened to us. First year of being married, right? So we had just moved into our condo together, and we moved into that condo. Shortly thereafter, the furnace goes out.
That's right, the furnace.
The furnace, and at that time, a furnace cost anywhere from $1,100 to $1,500, roughly around that price point or so, and we didn't have it. Just to be honest with y'all, we didn't have it in our savings. We didn't have
nothing.
Any sort of a reserve. We didn't have it. So what did we do? We had to borrow it. We borrowed it from a family member.
From my father, actually.
From his dad. But we also paid his dad back, but we had to borrow. So that taught us the lesson to have an emergency savings, an emergency reserves ready.
That's right.
That's money that you put away. You don't touch it. It's going to be there. You don't touch it because it's for what? Emergency. Those unexpected things that...
And things happen.
Happen. So
things happen, definitely. The third account that we believe people should have and couples should have is a retirement account. A retirement account, retirement account. We're not just living for today, but we're also living for the future. It's very important. And so different in retirement accounts, 401ks,
403Bs.
403Bs, IRA accounts, Roth IRA, traditional IRA, those, primarily, and there are other retirement accounts. But for the most part, those are the more popular retirement accounts. But you definitely want to live also, because when you retire, you want to have something and not have to be working because you have to work when you're 80 years old or 85 in a place that really you have no business working. So you definitely want to be able to enjoy the fruit of your labor.
And to supplement Social Security, what I'm hearing out there, Social Security will only pay a certain amount. So if you want to maintain your lifestyle, you are looking to have a certain lifestyle when you retire, then you have to think about how you can supplement the resources, the financial resources coming into your household. These are just ways, these are tools and some tips to think about if you aren't already thinking about it.
And we really don't rely on the government. The government. As I say, I can get on my soapbox, but I'm not going to do that tonight.
Don't do it to them. Don't do it to them, baby.
We're not going to rely on them to supplement our income or to give us to have monthly income. We're not going to do that. So you want to definitely have something else in play. Now the next one.
So I told you all when we first got married that I pretty much made about $8 an hour. We were under 40K together in our gross income. So we did not have this next type of account first starting out because everything was about the joint checking account and the joint savings account. But we have grown to be in a place where we can now have her account and her account, which I love. Because my husband likes to do certain things and he can save towards those things that he really enjoys and wants to do. And vice versa. I can save towards some of the things that I want to do that might be separate from each other. So we've grown in having his account and her account, which I think is super valuable.
And it keeps the peace. You get peace of mind when you have his and her account. I can go get some Jordans if I want.
If that's what you want to spend your money on, that's on you, boo.
She can go get a Coach bag or nails and all that stuff done.
Because it's so expensive to be a woman. Ladies, you already know. It is so expensive to be a man, too, though. Whatever. It's more expensive to be a woman. So it's just nice. It's nice. It's nice to have that structure. And again, you can grow. You can set this as a goal if you're not currently there. You can set this as a goal to work towards over time.
And one of the things that we had to go in this direction is because I remember we were going to a wedding years ago, and Roz was upset, and we were having an argument about having her own account. And I was like, okay, yeah, it's true, but, at the same time, it's just not something we can do right now or I want to do right now. So it's important. It's really important because we all have different wants.
Yes.
We
have things you want to do together.
Exactly.
You should always be working towards oneness and things you want to do together. But there inevitably can be some things you want to do separate as well. Or even if you want to just go surprise your spouse with something, you want to be able to buy it and they not really know what you're doing. That's another way to buy something for them from your account. That's
right. So those are two accounts in one. So 2 different accounts. So we've given you 5 accounts so far. 5 different accounts. 1 is the joint checking. 2 is the joint emergency. 3 is a retirement account. And then 4 and 5 is the his and her account.
All right.
The next one, joint savings account. Joint savings account. And this one I love because this account is something that is earning you compound interest. 2 words that I've learned that's very important. Compound.
I told y'all this is his
interest.
favorite topic.
Compound interest. Not simple interest like Chase 0.01%. We ain't talking about that. But compound interest, like a money market account, gives you 5% compound monthly. And or CD, certificate of deposit, which gives you compound quarterly. All right? So that may be 5% as well. But you're making that money work harder to make more money.
Yeah.
That's the key. You're making that money to make more money. One website I want to suggest is bankrate.com. bankrate.com. You will find different products on there that has different interest rates from a variety of financial institutions. So that's something I recommend. And I've already gone over there and done everything, research and all that. You can do your research as well.
And I would add to that, if you don't have a financial advisor, as you get into wanting to get into investing or looking at different types of savings accounts and money markets and things of that, look into a financial advisor. They can be a phenomenal resource for you and your family as well.
So that is the joint savings. The next one is an investment account. So you say, well, why would I get a savings account and an investment account? Because when you talk about investments, we're talking about stocks. So a brokerage account, for example, which it can be from a TD Ameritrade, Robinhood, E-Trade, these different brokerage accounts. And so it would be separate. Because you're really investing short-term and long-term in stocks, crypto, currency, or variety of things. So, but that's really I look at it as a long-term play. Nothing short-term about the investments, but it's long-term.
Which I will be transparent. That can be so challenging for me for a couple reasons, right? One is sometimes I'm like, should I really be like saving for something long term? Like, what if I'm not even around? We don't know how much longer we have on this earth. But I do know it's wisdom to plan ahead, because you never know what can happen in your life, and you never know. Like, maybe the Lord will bless us to be able to see retirement, or for my husband to be able to see retirement and to be in a position that we're not struggling. We can be able to enjoy the fruit of our labor, or vice versa. If the Lord takes one of us home as well. I will be honest, so it is a struggle sometime, but I do think it's important, and we are in agreement to have that discipline of saving both short-term and long-term.
That's right. We just remember it really in the Bible of how Joseph, God had told him that there's going to be a famine. And so Joseph, who was in a leadership position, at this time, was able to store up so much because of what the Lord had told him.
Yes.
Because of what the Lord had given him. So it's important to really be able to store up, because you don't know what's going to happen. Yeah. The government shutdown. Yeah. Or, any famine in your own personal life,
or job transition,
anything,
life events. And I think to your point of why these type of accounts are important is, how can we do our part to create peace in our marriages and our relationships? Finances is such a trigger in marriages, and it can cause a relationship to dissolve because of imbalance or poor decisions or lack of discipline. Mm-hmm. So having some of the thinking together and thinking about a strategy and putting a strategy in place and applying some of these principles to your life can potentially also help you long term, and then also help your marriage to stay healthy too. So it's things we can't control, it's things that happen that we can't control, but the areas in which we can be strategic and we can do something different about, that's what we're talking about. So
that's right. And last but not least, a vacation account. Vacation. We love to travel, and we don't just talk about it, but we be about it. So vacation, vacation, vacation. And we take one every year. I
God be the
promised my
glory.
wife before we left,
sure
before we
did.
got married, we're going to take a vacation
He sure
every
did.
year.
And God has blessed us to
Every
do
year.
that.
And God has blessed us to
Thank you
do
for it.
just that. So a vacation account, and this is just a separate account.
That you don't touch.
Don't touch for any emergency
Not for
shopping, none
bills.
of that.
It's not for bills.
This is straight organization. Everything we're giving you is to organize your money. You are dictating to your money where you want that money to go.
Yeah.
The money's not dictating to you, but you're dictating, telling that money where to go. And so you actually do it. So the vacation, it helps, especially if you put money in there weekly or monthly, for example. And then at the end, of course, of the year, end of the year, beginning of the year, or really halfway through the following year, you're able to see a nice amount, and you're able to contribute to whatever you want, where you want to go. So it's a blessing. We love it because we love to travel. And if you love to travel, you love to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Whether it's Valentine's Day, your anniversary, nice places, because life is short. You want to be able to enjoy life. You want to be able to enjoy life in that kind of way.
Yeah.
Hey, it's worth it. You can prioritize a vacation account because it is important to you. It's important to us in our marriage.
So I want to reiterate some key principles because these accounts are important, but they won't work without having some key principles in place, and that is discipline. It takes discipline, communication, being able to communicate with your spouse and be on one accord and work together towards the goals that you've established. Being organized. Maybe one person is more organized than the other. Maybe the other is more organized. But this is a way of being organized. And then budgeting. You have to have a budget. So we have resources that come in every pay period or once a month or twice a month. How do you budget those resources? How do you allocate those resources? What is the plan? Either your money is doing its own thing or you are, like my husband said, dictating to your money where it goes.
That's right. So that's what we believe, that it's important to have those 8 accounts. Nothing really more than that. You know,
Well,
you may figure
I will
out
add
something.
one thing that I think is really, really key. And it's not an account, so it was like, how do we touch upon this? Because it's not an account, but it is the most important principle as a believer that you can have
Yes.
in your life when it comes to financial stewardship. And that is being a tither to the
Yes.
kingdom of God.
Absolutely.
And making sure that every time you get paid, whether it's from a job, that you give 10%
That's
of
right.
those resources back to the kingdom of God. If you're planted in the local church or in another opportunity, but that you are tithing from your resources. We believe in tithers.
Yes, we do.
We have been tithers for, I don't even know,
More than
over
2
20
decades.
years.
More than 2 decades.
And
definitely.
that's, I think, one of the biggest reasons why we are blessed. And God has
Financially
blessed us
and
financially
physically.
because
marriage.
of tithing. So we
Absolutely.
can't stress that enough. It's not an account, but it's such an important principle to have in place for financial stewardship.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because I did not have this in my notes. But yes, that's so important. And that's something we do. We work toward. But that's something we do. Like it's in us. You know, that's something we've done and we continue to do. So the questions we have, is this something, what we mentioned, the 8 different accounts. Let's go over that one more time. 1 is a joint checking account. 2 is a joint emergency account. 3 is a retirement account. 4 and 5 is the his and her account, separate. 7 is the joint, or should we say 6? 6 is a joint savings account. Joint savings account. 7 is the investment account. So any kind of brokerage accounts that you want to have and all that. And 8 is the vacation account. Vacation. So those different accounts. Now, is this something that you all are already doing in your marriage? What works and what does not work? We would love to hear from you. Please like and subscribe to this podcast, to this episode. Please like and subscribe to this episode. Is there something we did not mention that works for you and your spouse? You know, we don't have all the answers. We don't profess to or confess confess to have all the answers. So is that something that you all are already doing that works for you that we did not mention? And also, we want to encourage you all to view our last episode on emotional instability.
It was good.
Yes, it was good, real good. And it was something that we interviewed therapist Natalie Allen and about how emotions really affect our relationships and particularly our marriage.
Yeah, and that could tie right into how you approach your finances too.
That's right.
Like, I know this would be a whole separate topic. Like, do you have more of a poverty mindset? You know, did
That's
you not
right.
grow up with a lot? And do you approach your resources this way? Are you too much of a spender? Are you not balancing your
That's
spending?
right.
It's interesting to see how some of the norms that we bring into our marriages affect us and how we approach our finances as well. So, yeah, that's a really good reminder to check out that episode.
And one of the things we want to encourage you to do is to really deal with any financial traumas. Financial traumas. What are financial traumas? Financial traumas are things that you've carried that people have burned you financially. Things that happened a long time ago that you haven't gotten over, that creeps into your marriage, and you don't know exactly why your spouse feels the way they feel or how you feel the way you feel, but it's financial trauma. Things that have happened a long time ago, things that have happened before, and you're like, I'm not gonna get burned again. And so we want to pray
you might have
healing.
that approach with your spouse, which is
That's
not
right.
good, because how can you work towards oneness? How can you agree if your household is divided?
That's
so
right.
how can you
That's
agree if they're not if it's divided? So yeah, that's really good.
Financial trauma is a real thing. It's something that you want to deal with and hopefully deal with before you have or try to have these different accounts.
Yeah.
Because it's very important. I think perhaps that's why people argue over finances and unfortunately divorce over finances, because one of the reasons they don't deal with that financial trauma that's emotional and it creeps into their relationships.
Yeah, that could definitely be a contributing factor for sure.
Yes. So we hope this helped. Again, this is Keep the Fire Burning podcast. Please like and subscribe.
And comment.
Yes, please.
We want to hear from
some
you.
comments. Please give some comments. Have a blessed day and a blessed week. Peace.